to order. First thing to do for the meeting is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then we move to approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second that.
It's been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Ask for the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I will, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of claims for payments.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims for payment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for approval of claims for payments. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We put discussion with county engineer regarding 135th Street and bike trail to Calkins campus. Some of that's been brought up off of Region 6 a few years ago. They got a grant for $360,000 for a bike trail designated for that area with a $90,000 match. And one of the things we really need to do is get some prices to see what this would cost. I'll open it up for you guys for discussion or questions.
Pretty much summed it up.
I get hit a lot, and Ron, maybe I don't know if you do, about people that live along Calkins campus. And I should say other places too, around the county, that they would like pavement instead of gravel roads. The Calkins campus one has been on our of things to do, our 5-year plan. It's been right at the top, and it's kind of what do we do with it as far as paving, and then we throw this in there. So I think what we're trying to decide: do we want just a bike path? Do we want just a road with a wide shoulder? Do we want anything? The second thing that comes in that we've been kicking around a little bit, and with Cindy, traffic coming in from the west to Isle Falls. It gets through town, but the detour, or how they get around town, isn't especially the greatest for semi-traffic. Just looking at different ways to get traffic around there. We looked at 140th Street actually, for part of that. So I have some idea of what it costs for paving a gravel road, but I really, and I would like to see us look at 140th to see what that would cost to bring semis across there too.
From S27 over.
Right.
Yeah, it's a straighter shot. This road going to Calkins campus, I don't foresee it as truck traffic. I see it a real benefit to Calkins campus and bicycles and things like that. And so I think that's what we probably have to weigh is, what comes first and what do we do first. So we really can't make decisions, at least I can't, until I get all the facts. And it doesn't have to be down to the penny, at least for me. It just has to be
Rough estimate.
Yeah.
roughly what.
Yes.
And then, and I don't, did you check this, or either of you two, can we use that 360,000? Does that have to be a standalone bike path?
We didn't think so. We were talking about that.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I'll be in a meeting with them at noon. I can ask.
Okay. That was, and if this 360,000 goes back, Lance, I think you said.
It goes back into the Region 6, and it's allocated only for trails in that region, which it could be used for this trail going through this rail trail project shared with Marshalltown as well. or Grinnell or wherever else they want to put a trail, but it's only designated for trails.
And Daryl, you and I have already discussed this 140th. You could even take that farther and look at it where it jots down. It used to be Boomsma's down there, but remember that we put that pavement down to
To go farther west.
west.
Okay, over to that plant?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And 140th is a really nice gravel road. I mean,
That's
it's,
nice and wide there,
Yeah,
west
it's-
of S27.
yes, yeah.
Because that does catch a lot of the feed traffic.
Yeah, well, and some of the other issues that we're dealing with is some of our future plans around the area. You know, and I guess we just need to have more information before we can make good decisions and go forward.
You bet.
So what we're doing is not really taking an action on anything. We just want it to address.
Informative, yeah,
No more
all informative.
harder information to make your decisions with.
Yep, have you come back to us with numbers. And that was it, unless anybody else has anything.
No,
Then we can go to number 7, which is the auditor's monthly report.
Make a motion to accept the auditor's monthly report.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. With number 8, it was set time for a public date and hearing. I don't believe we're ready to do that yet, so we can go on beyond that unless there's any more information been brought to me since then.
Did you chat with Joey?
Yeah,
And what was his answer? I missed it.
we might be able to squeeze through
This year?
this year and actually do it in next year's budget.
All right.
But it can be a flick of a button and it all change.
True.
So, as of right now, I don't think we need to do anything yet.
No, I don't do it.
We can go to number 9, change of status in the sheriff's office. Look for a motion on that.
Make a motion for the change of status from Elizabeth Glade. She's going full-time to part-time.
Second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? She sent a nice little letter with it. She'd appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the opportunities I have been given during my time and like to stay part-time as an employee. So, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Sheriff's quarterly report.
Make a motion to accept the sheriff's quarterly report, which is in 12/31.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded on accepting the sheriff's report. Any discussion? Dave was unable here to go through anything, but other than that, everything looks good. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Revisions to employee handbook supplementation of workers, compensation benefits, and health care benefits. And in this, we're just changing some wording. Do you want me to go through and read these?
There's quite a few changes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the changes
Yeah.
as listed in the 2 sheets that we have before us.
And I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we move to approve the changes in the handbook on the 2 sheets, which is supplementation of workers' compensation benefits and health care benefits. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we go to motor vehicle record review policy. And what this is with Heartland Risk Pool, which is our insurance company. It's just an annual thing they print out. I don't think they've changed anything from the previous year that I can tell. And we're just approving it again, that our drivers, what they're responsible for, how your violations count, new hirees and current employees. And then there's an authorization to the employees. Do you have them sign that annually?
No, just when they're hired.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the motor vehicle record review policy. Yep.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Utility permits.
Department head should get a copy of that MVR summary.
Yeah, it's the same one it's always been. It's just about when put in the policy. We always just accepted
Okay.
what they said as policy. Now they actually just retyped it and put our name on it, so it's our
Okay.
policy.
Good. Well, it tells me what points and
Yeah.
what improves. Okay. No utility permits.
Okay, no utility permits. Approval of supplement.
But I do have some other things though, if you want to talk secondary roads. Checked on the brush cutter this morning. The answer we got was hopefully the end of the week, if not early next week. But they have somebody on it all the time. The new motor grader is here, the 12M that we leased. It's down in Radcliffe. The 140 should be here in about 2 weeks. And we'll put that machine down in Radcliffe also. So that way the two operators can talk to each other, you know, since it's kind of new. And then we'll start the rotation. From there, just a question, we are in winter time now, and we had talked earlier about if you had thought any more about what to do with this house next to the EOC building, if you were gonna have us tear it down, or what you were thinking, if we were to do something like that, you know, and do it during the winter when we had some time, we might have to do the asbestos reviews or whatever. Just reminding you that that's there, and if you,
Okay.
you know, if you guys want to think about it more, what you want to do with it, you know, if you want to utilize us to tear it down, there's some processes you have to go through if you decide to do that. James has received, we ordered to visit with him about a weather station to try to give us some more real-time data here. And you probably can talk about it better than I can with all the website interaction.
Yeah, no problem. Daryl expressed an interest in getting a piece of equipment where he can get a little more real-time information that's very localized in regards to current weather conditions. We went out and picked up a product that is going to be uploading information to the internet on a regular interval, I think more like 15 minutes. That includes things like wind speed, direction, temperature, barometric pressure, all the basics. We also got it so it would pick up solar radiation or UV inlet index, because his employees are going to be working outside quite often. In the wintertime, the wind speed and direction and temperature are important, but in the summer, it's also going to relate back to make sure you put on your sunscreen, make sure you drink enough water as a personal safety issue, so his employees will be able to keep up to date on that. The equipment is in the IT office right now being assembled and tested. We'll also, I guess, I forgot to say, it also collects rainfall totals. Once we've got it properly configured and calibrated, we're going to put it out at the secondary road shop site, so it's nice and close for us to work on as a test environment. And then possibly, if this works out well, we may roll this out to other locations that Daryl needs information on. All of his employees and the public will be able to reference the information that we're putting out on the web from smartphones, computers, pretty much anything that connects up to the internet.
Going through, what is it, the Weather Underground site?
We're using Weather Underground. It's a crowdsourcing weather, where people put out their own weather stations, and then all of that information is uploaded to the internet. There's a few around Hardin County already, but we need just a few more in different locations to meet Daryl's needs. In fact, if you've seen KCCI, Their school net, I believe, runs on the Weather Underground network as well. So it's along those same lines.
And it kind of ties in with, I visited with you briefly before about the DOT rolling out a website where it has real-time tracking of their snow plows. And that site is up and running now. I saw it yesterday. And they also have on there where they have cameras on some of their routes, you know. You can click on it and you'll get a snapshot at that moment of, you know, the traffic or what the roads look like. And they also have on their website, it's called Weather View. And they have a station right there at the Highway 20 at Steamboat Rock at the bridge, right near the bridge. And looking at that, you know, that gives even quite a bit of more information, pavement temperatures and stuff. So kind of combining all the things together, we can take these different sources of information, you know, fill in the gaps with stuff that we need and make better decisions. You know, more data get you better decisions. So that real-time tracking on the snowplows is kind of neat. If you get a chance, I can show you where that website is. So.
Is the UV edition optional on the weather station?
It is, yep.
Is it costly or?
It wasn't bad. You know, it added some cost, but when we weighed the benefit, you know, against the cost, we thought it was worth it. It was well under $500 for the option. I think it was more like $100 to $200 possibly. But we were getting it specifically for the adverse conditions, and then we looked at it. You know, there's a lot of hot seasonal weather here in Iowa, so we wanted to make sure we were covering that base as well.
We're getting a little tighter with our safety program now. You know,
That's also something that the conservation can use as well. When you're out there spraying, they can get your wind speeds and your
Absolutely.
temperatures
Once
when
we
they
put it up on the
log
web,
their
everybody will be able
sheets.
to.
Instead of having to stop and log, they can just come in at the end of the day and do their increments that way. Or it'd pull up on their phone as they go, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they can pull it up live time on any smartphone device that they've got, or on a laptop if they have it in the vehicle.
And then we also had one other demonstration on the timesheet program yesterday. It's we found out how valuable Lori is when she's gone on vacation when it comes to timesheet day. So something that we could look at that really would make it a lot easier. There's a lot of tedious tasks really that could be eliminated and get rid of a lot of error that you probably don't see, but you know, mistakes on the timesheets all the time, and then when payday comes, then they come in and, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. So
That's a computer-based one?
Mhm.
Or-
just something we had James set up a demo, and I think Dave, the sheriff, was there, and then Nick.
It's a product we've looked at over the last year. It's a time and attendance package where employees could utilize either an electronic time clock where they use the fob that they use to get in and out of the building. They just swipe it, would clock them in and clock them out, and it would take the need for human interaction when it comes to calculating accruals and doing tabulations and looking for exceptions in the time clock in the time cards. The computer would do all that for you, so you could do a true, more like a red flag, green flag kind of thing. If you notice that an hourly employee is working 45 hours consistently, well, that becomes an overtime issue. Instead of having to do it longhand, the system would just flag and say this employee is having an issue. Also, if they're not working their full hours, it would come up and flag and you could notice it. So again, it takes the need for double and triple entry sometimes, where on our current process it comes in on a paper timesheet, crinkled, covered in coffee, comes to an employee who has to enter it into a system that goes to another employee for review, and then down the line until it finally gets put into the AS400. This would collect the information directly from the employee electronically, and then put it into a format where you could just click an approval process, and then it would go directly into the 400. So it would eliminate quite a few steps and processes from the middle.
Anything
it.
else?
Well, that EOC for the house, I think we should check with Roxanne and Dave one more time to make sure, because I haven't come up with a reason to keep the house. I've tried.
I'm just bringing it up to your attention
We've
that.
kicked it around, I don't know how many.
I got my theory.
Trying to come up with something, so I think we ought to run that by them real fast, and if not, I think this would be a good winter to eliminate that house. Because it's just gonna get worse if it sits there.
Unless somebody can come up with a
High. Yeah.
reason to move it, get it off there,
Yeah.
a need.
And the road grader, I would stop by and, when that was delivered, and that is, the guys are pretty excited about it. Looks like something that, kind of out of Star Wars almost, when you sit in the cockpit of that thing. I mean, there's no steering wheel, no anything, it's just two joysticks like this. And you sit in there and you control everything with joysticks and.
Did you drive it yet, Daryl?
No, I didn't, but I think I was getting updates as soon as it hit the county line. Hey, guess what I just saw? Hey, guess what I just saw? It's 2 miles east of Zosky's now.
Yeah, what was pretty funny is when I walked in the shop, because I got there a little bit late, walked in the shop, and here sits our road grader that's giving a demonstration, and on the other side is one of our other road graders, just in 1,000 pieces.
Blown engine.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it definitely shows the need that we're due, and I'd be interested to see how the guys like the joystick.
And kind of along that lines too, I had a meeting with all the motor grader operators yesterday, and I told Greg I wanted him to do it since he was a safety officer and I was worried about my safety. But we combined, we eliminated one of the routes. We're gonna give it a try and spread it out. So, very receptive, the employees, the guys, a lot of great input. They've got a lot of great ideas, you know, great comments. They're the ones that do it. They know what's going on, and they know what they can and can't do, so. With what they have, you know.
That's good. I'm glad they're all on board. The weather changes, or the weather deals, and when you first told me about that, I'm like, I could kind of do that online right now. But every time I come here, I diagonal this county almost from one end to the other. And it's amazing, doesn't matter what season it is, how different the weather can be in that short a run. It could be pouring at my place and not a drop here. Or it could be a blizzard at my place and the sun's shining here, or vice versa. So, you know, I do see some advantages for your guys at 6 o'clock in the morning. You can look at the screen and say, okay, when it's raining in Alden, we don't need to send the crew up there. Let's go south. And I think there's some advantage to that. And like Ron hit on it, the what do you call it, UV rays, or the, you know, skin cancer or something that is a big deal. And keeping these guys work outside. And so pushing that coverage of sunblock and the right equipment and letting them look at it right here. So, you know, if you're out there and this is what's going to happen. So I think that's a good thing for anybody, not just government employees, but anybody to look at when they're out in the sun. So and the real-time tracking of our trucks. You know, we do that now with our deputy cars, and the public can't see,
Right.
but Dave can. I just think that's something to keep moving forward to, because I think that'd be very handy for even our industry that's in Hardin County, knowing where those plows are at and everything, if they're trying to deliver something out into the country. So,
Or if they're stuck in a snowstorm and they're not sure where they're at because they can't see. If it's a blizzard, they're blind too.
yeah. So some good stuff, Daryl. I really like the idea that we're lowering our routes of road graders. I mean, these guys, I mean, if you can't see the comparison, we're there. That new road grader is just all-wheel drive. It's a bigger V plow. It just makes sense. It's going to cover more miles in a day than what we've been using. So.
And I just want to bring up, and I know, but those it's a big V plow. You know, that's going to go through some more. So that rock's going to go a little bit farther in the fields.
Not if it's not scraping the road. We go back and forth with this
Yeah.
one. so.
But, you know, when people, they hear that, you know, oh, you've reduced a motor grader, they automatically think that we've reduced a machine. We haven't. We've picked up more miles per motor grader, but we're doing things like with the pickups with the snowplow, they're out there catching the gravel road dead end that a motor grader would have to deadhead a half mile on the pavement to get to, that takes time to go there and get that. If they don't have to worry about that, now that pickup's just catching that. You know, an example is that road that, you know.
215th Street, right?
Right, it's a dead end. I think it's still on gravel though, but there's one over on, I think it's F Avenue on D47 or, you know, there's just little things like that where we can save that time by using a different piece of equipment that will work, and you keep your big machines out there, you know, get them on that
Landfill
grid
road.
and run them.
Landfill Road. Or do we take that straight truck on that one, that gravel?
I think we've done trucks on that one
Okay.
before, but, you know, it's still an all hands on deck. You know,
Mhm.
we're not, that doesn't mean, you know, another guy just sits in the shop. They're still out there in something at this point. So.
James, question. With the weather station, is it possible that we could work with all our school systems within the county and hook into, because Brian hit it, you know, throughout the whole county, the weather changes.
I know there's.
If we hit all the school systems where they, you know, we could tap into everybody's weather from Union all the way up to Alden and Ackley, we'd have most of the county covered, and it would be an educational tool also.
Absolutely. This is definitely something, this first one is a very beta test, just to see how it works out and if it meets Daryl's needs. So far, we're pretty impressed with what we've seen with it sitting on my desk, but assuming it does what he hopes, then we could definitely partner with anyone to get a station. If we want to pick up a location and we don't have county property at that location, whether it be a co-op, a school, whoever would be willing, we may be looking to partner with them. And absolutely, schools are a great fit because it serves our needs and their needs.
And theirs, yeah.
Absolutely.
Be a win-win for everybody.
The reason really why I looked at this was on Christmas morning we ran trucks, but so I went there and we get that DTN system in our shop, and you know it wasn't updated, and then you know and I tried to reset it and this and that, and I'm thinking why are we spending money on this when there's so much data already out there? You know, we don't need to know what the corn prices or bean prices are, you know, and that kind of thing. I mean, it's a great tool for farmers. But for us, we can get the maps that we need already, and for that price, maybe we can even get a little more precise data,
Yeah, I think
or local data, I guess I want to say.
you have that
More precise.
Your place of that.
Yeah, I used to. Back
used
when
to
I
have
worked
it
at
too, but
FS.
When the internet came out, it was just like, there's no reason to have, you know.
You can get your local market instead of a total market.
I kind of one important question though is, James, when that's sitting on your desk, what was the wind speed readout?
There's a lot of hot air in my office, so it was picking up quite a bit.
Oh, with that note, let's go to number 14. Approval of supplemental agreement number 2 with Calhoun Burns Associates for final design of bridges 4250 and 4254.
This would just this would have Calhoun and Burns do the final design for those two bridges up there on D20, and by signing this, this would allow us to use our FM money to use towards that design. So,
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve this agreement for both those two bridges that were just mentioned.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agreements on the 2 bridges. Any other discussion?
and everybody knows they're right by Brian's house, right?
I will be completely trapped if I won't be to any of the meetings for, what, 8 weeks?
Is on both sides of his house.
Yeah, it's on both sides. It's ridiculous.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Other business out there.
We do have a hospital update for you. I'm sure as you read, the board approved the use of a new name as we move into the new facility. We will become Hanson Family Hospital. That is a DBA. So legally, we're still Ellsworth Municipal Hospital in the background, DBA Hanson Family Hospital, when that new facility opens. We are now looking at a late April for an opening. That is becoming more of a firm schedule, and we're waiting for those final dates to be named, but we're now looking at late April, probably after Easter sometime. And we do have the company that is helping us through this move. It's Healthcare Relocations out of Canada, and actually the team we're working with is out of New Jersey. They're on site yesterday and today, and we're running through the patient move scenarios. So just putting the personnel in place and all of the processes that it's going to take to actually move our most important cargo, which is our patients. So working through those things and some other fine details. So I think in the next few weeks we'll have much more firm dates and information for you on the move, but things are getting really exciting. Just really counting down the last few months and days to the move. And I know Ron made it up, but I extend the invitation to you guys. We'd love to get you through there. So if there's a time that works for you, feel free to call me, or I'll be in touch maybe in a few weeks and see what you've got coming up, see if we can make something work.
It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you. Any other business?
We want Daryl to look at this. Did you guys get this from Buckeye?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do we want, is that butt up against our county property or not?
I wasn't sure.
We didn't think it did.
We didn't.
We thought that was a block off.
It's right on, it butts up against their softball diamond.
Oh, good.
There's a piece of property in Buckeye, and the county owns it for some odd reason, and the city wants it, but we don't know if it butts up against your property up there at the county shed or not. We haven't looked into it that
Your
tight.
county shed isn't right up against the softball diamond, is it?
I don't think so.
I was thinking there's a block in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was,
Trying to picture that.
I didn't know either, so.
The big question is, do we want to keep it for us, or do we want them to have it?
I would have to ask, I don't know if there's a septic tank there or something, or what.
I think it's just an open lot.
Behind us,
We can have this map after our meeting and check that out, so we can, because we'll probably be bringing that up next week for our next week meeting,
Okay.
so.
Any more other business? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We're adjourned. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.